All right, welcome back to the channel. It's looking like top water is not working again today. I guess I just keep hitting bad days. Pretty unusual. When I first arrived, there was a pretty good breeze blowing, but it died out real quick. I'm gonna stick with the top water for just a minute, just to see, but usually I can tell within the first couple of casts whether it's gonna be a good top water day or not. Oh, there he is. Ah, that's another small one. I can catch a small one every once in a while. Oops. Little guy. That is encouraging, though. I was turning my head because I'm looking at some kind of debris floating out there. Just want to be aware of it. Wonder what it is. All right, so I'm going to experiment. So obviously the last several trips they've wanted something very slow, which has been the jig or the roach. You want something that looks like a crawdad right now. And this creek is absolutely packed with bait. So all these minnows swimming around and they want a crawdad. Well, I don't want to be no sense making it any more difficult than it needs to be. Don't want to outsmart myself. I know they'll hit a jig, so I've tried just about, well, several other baits so far this morning. One dinky topwater fish, that's it. Here's the jig. See all that blue in it? Blue is key at Lake Lanier. Actually, blue is key everywhere, if you ask me. Whoop, there's one. Largemouth. That doesn't surprise me. Nice largemouth too. Nice one. Okay. It's a start. So anytime I catch one like that, especially after it's been slow, I pay attention where I caught him, you know, what kind of water. And I'm way back in the creek, so I kind of thought maybe if the spots weren't active, maybe the largemouths would be. Man, there is nothing more satisfying than that thump on the jig. I'm telling you, it is a lifesaver too, because I wouldn't have caught, I don't think I catch that fish any other way. There we go. Ooh, it's a nice spot too. I saw that fish come up and whack it. So, I'm learning here. That fish was right in the cover again. Right in the cover. Another largemouth buried. I'm talking buried in the cover. Decent largie. I'm telling you, on these slow days, don't be afraid to throw right in the middle of the cover. You're gonna get snagged once in a while, but let's see here. Can I see if I can thread the needle there. Man, I'm getting tired of the slow fishing. There's one. Another largemouth. Isn't that something? I'm telling you. Mostly largemouths again. I mean, nothing giant so far, but that's a decent, respectable largemouth. I haven't really been keeping score, but I know that's at least 3 largemouths. That is interesting. What does that tell me? That the largemouths are about the only thing that's active at all. The old largemouths they're less affected by fronts and weather. At least that's what it seems like to me. Darn it. He took my trailer. That son of a gun. Boy, that fish was just chomping on it. Must have been a small one. When the going gets tough, sometimes a little scent can help. And it is tough right now. See these big tree in the water today? That's the kind of spot they're going to be in. And there he is. And it's a good one. I better net him. I better net him. Another largemouth buried in the cover. This is my biggest fish of the day. I'm telling you, some days it's all largemouths. It's a nice one. Good fish. Beautiful. The largemouths, especially when the fishing's tough, the largemouths are so much more predictable. Okay, there just might be another. That is fun. I am telling you though, it is a slow day. Slow, fishing is way slow. But I'm having to just slowly pick apart every one of these. Any cover that I find, you know, trees. The largemouths like wood, I can tell you that. Why is my... maneuver my boat to where I can get a cast on the other side of this tree. Oh, that if there's a fish there, that cast ought to get him. This tree came down during the hurricane, evidently. Took out their walkway to their dock. Chances are it's too fresh to have fish on it, but I'm gonna throw in there anyway. Man, it really took out their walkway. All right, once again, my jig is a 1/4 ounce. I rarely ever go heavier than that. If anything, I'll go lighter. The slow fall is what makes the difference. Most everybody else will use jigs that are at least 3/8 or heavier. I don't. I use a light one. Still a relatively big profile though. It's not like a tiny little mini jig. It's a I want bulk. But man, this fishing is tough. So I had plans to come out and catch them a different way today. Try to keep it a little more interesting. The fish had something to say about that. Oh, he's in the tree. I lost him because of the tree. Darn it. Darn it. There was a limb. My lure was right over the limb. So when I set the hook, I didn't get a very good, didn't get very good leverage. I doubt that fish will come back either. Right in the tree again. I'm almost guarantee you that was a largemouth. Dang it. These slow days, can't afford to lose one like that. I will point out that I've had a few more bites since I put some scent on my jig. It certainly does not hurt. So I get comments from a lot of people who are new to fishing and ask me about how to fish a jig or a worm or any kind of Texas rig. Always make sure you work your lure with your rod and not your reel, if that makes any sense. You don't want to move the lure with the reel. You want to, see how I'm using my rod to move the lure, and all I'll use my reel for is to reel up the slack line. That way you can feel everything, every little rock on the bottom. And then pretty soon you're going to feel a thump. There is nothing like that thump. And that, that goes for just about any lure. I don't want to, you don't want to move your lure with your reel. The only exception would be spinnerbait or crankbait, but even then, I like to use my rod more than I do my reel, if that makes any sense. You can see another tree in here. Not every tree is going to have fish, but some of them do. Ooh, I gotta go. Oop. There he is. See how that works? Ooh, it's a nice one too. See if I can flip him. Yeah, well, that's the biggest spot of the day. Wow. It's a nice one. A nice, big, chunky spot. Beautiful, beautiful fish. Wow. Oh man, I'm telling you, I love fishing a jig. I love fishing, period, but there's just something about when they thump that jig. I had to throw it right in the thick stuff. I've been snagged half the day, but it's worth it. I got one more tree here I'm gonna fish, and then it's time for me to go. I'm pushing the limits here. I knew there was gonna be a fish in that tree. And I was overdue for a good spot. Funny how the majority of my fish have been largemouth again. So when things get tough, slow down and throw a jig or a worm right in the center of the thickest cover you can find. The fish just bury up in the cover at times. I don't know why the last few trips have been so slow, but I ended up catching quite a few fish, I guess. But all right, I gotta make myself stop, or I won't get any sleep. But don't underestimate the power of the mighty jig. I am telling you, when things are tough, it's hard to beat a jig. I even threw my worm today. I did not get a bite. They are kind of keying on crawdads right now, here in my part of the lake anyway. But a jig will work anywhere that there's bass. It catches bass, and it catches good ones. Anyway, thanks for watching. Make sure you're subscribed, give it a thumbs up, and I will see you next time.